Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Which is manipulated more, gold or silver? We're going to explore these questions. No one can really give us definitive answers. We know that both are being manipulated in some way or another at some level. As to how much, that is really the question. And really, that's kind of what we're going to explore here today. These are some of my favorite charts on gold and silver that come to us here. The 100-year macro trend charts that you can select for, that you can see with inflation-adjusted prices. And I think that's important to really get a sense for the true value of gold and silver. And I still believe that both are undervalued. However, this really does give us an idea and a trend line to kind of see what's going on with the precious metals. Some of you may remember I posted a video a while back on both gold and silver on its historical trends for the last 100 years using these charts, and in a prior video. Mateo Man contacted me and kind of mentioned some of the things that we're going to talk about here and pointed to these charts again as well. And I think it's something that's important to kind of look at to kind of give us a sense for where gold and silver is and how we can measure it, and encourage all of us that we're doing the right thing by accumulating these precious metals, and to also further bolster the point that I've been making for quite some time, that really gold and silver are money. And money in and of itself, when you think about what it is, in and of itself, it is not an investment. It is money. And these charts, I believe, show us, in my opinion, that very thing, and show us that gold and silver, by and large, really do kind of maintain their value and their worth through history. And these are just the last 100 years. I'd be interested to see what the last 200 years would look like. But here we go. Let's take a look at silver first, actually. And let's take a look at that chart here to see where we're at. And if we take a look between 1917 or 15 or whatever year it is, 1915, so just over 100 years, 103 years, where silver is, we have it adjusted for inflation. We're having it showing the recessions, and as you can see, recessions happen every, on average about 9-10 years or so, and they happen more often way back in time. They happen less often now, last less periods of time, but nonetheless, we can see there throughout history. And here's where the Hunt brothers cornered the market on silver. Inflation adjusted, silver went up to about $113 in 1980, way overpriced. And then we had it spike up to, $54. Inflation adjusted back in 2000. Actually didn't quite hit the $50 mark then, but inflation adjusted, that would be about $54. So just to give you a sense, let's turn off the inflation-adjusted chart here. We can see that it has steadily climbed up based off real dollar values back in the days, and we can see that by and large, silver has gone up and stayed up there. It's a steadily climb, but this is really the best adjusted effort here. So if we look at the tail ends of the chart here, we can see that silver is about $12.85 here, and it's running about this only goes back, let's see, July, $15.50, let's say. So it's a little bit more than what it was over 100 years ago. And obviously in between we see that it's gone down, especially during the beginnings of the Depression and and it's kind of held steady here. And of course, keep in mind that up until it was stopped being used as money, if anything, a lot of the manipulation was going on right here by the government, because it was used in money. It was used as money. It was money, and that's kind of why it's held relatively steady and stable. Then it's when they stopped using it as money, it climbed up. So there you have it. And so by and large, aside, and of course we did see it go back down during the 90s and the like. But by and large, if you look at the tail end of the spectrum here, silver is right in line with inflation and preserving itself as money. Let's take a look at gold. Gold's inflation-adjusted chart. Look at this. It tells quite a different story. We still have the two peaks because silver and gold inflation adjusted here in 1980. It was over $2,100 an ounce, and inflation adjusted, it was about $2,000 an ounce. So we can see all the different moves here, and keep in mind that it was fixed for quite some time by the government. So let's turn off the inflation adjusted rates, and we can see there how it was fixed. $35 an ounce for a lot of time there. And then we can see, and then obviously it was $20 back when it was in our coins. So look at that. Back when the double eagle was out, being circulated, was right around $20. Maybe a little bit more, several cents more than that. And then they set the price here. They have FDR's executive order, and then boom, they set the price at $35 an ounce. And look what happened after that. You let it go, and boom, it just goes up. Crazy, crazy. Comes back down a little bit and goes way up in real dollars. Adjusted for inflation, we see quite a different tail here as the value of the dollar has moved and changed over the course. And at today's dollars, we see that in reality, you look at how high gold is there. It's way above what it was in 1915 there. And look what it is now. It's about, now it's $1,219 as of July 2018. So this tells us the tail between these two metals, and which one is more in line. Well, silver, and obviously, and silver is more in line with what the real price is adjusted for inflation right now. However, one could make the argument that it should probably be higher. Of course, the ratio between gold to silver is higher, but look, silver is a unique metal in that it is used in industry. There's a lot of different fingers touching metal in terms of the biomedical field, the industrial field, jewelry, and obviously the bullion markets as well, and the collector markets. Gold, on the other hand, it is used in some fabrication, mainly in technology, and in some cases, but not nearly as much as it is used for jewelry and for bullion and coins. And my view is that you're probably going to see more of the kind of manipulation in some cases for gold in the Eastern markets than you would here. But even so, it seems to be higher there. I don't know. It's, I guess, the demand and the cultural demand and realizing its value. So it's treasured. It's treasured either as jewelry or as bullion. Whereas silver is cheap enough, and even so, even going back, even when it was at its high, $50 an ounce. Or what have you, it was still being used. There was still that cushion there. It was still much less valued as gold is. Now, if we would have kept it to the trend lines of $50 or $40 moving ahead from that point, then it would be quite a different story. Although not that much. I still think you would see silver being used. I think a lot of our electronics and things just would be a bit more expensive than they are now, but not as expensive as you may think, by the way, because they are finding ways to do more with less silver than they have in past years. They're finding technological ways to be more efficient with the metal, but its use as a commodity does say something. But by and large, I believe that both these charts tell us that yes, there is some manipulation, but it's not as bad as some would say. And so it's very fascinating indeed. Thank you again, Mateo, man, for bringing this again to my attention. I love these charts. They really do tell a whole lot about where the metals are, and I love to look at them. And I think this encourages us, and should encourage us all, that these show real data on where gold and silver have been throughout history, throughout the last 100 years at least, and should give us the confidence that we're doing the right thing by accumulating these metals, and that they really do sell themselves, because there's a price on everything, and these are stable. Gold and silver, money. As much as governments and as much as the media would like to suppress it, these charts tell a different thing. And central banks around the world tell a different story too, because they are minting bullion coins and storing it, especially gold. And so that should be another factor in why we should accumulate these metals. Post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude, y'all, for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.